Hey guys, so today I have a haul and review for you, this time from the company called Zaful. I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not actually sure how you pronounce it, but it's Zaful or Zaful.com. And this one I'm really excited about because it might be my favorite order that I've ever made in terms of the products, actual products that I got and the quality of them. But before I dive into the haul, of course I'm going to tell you about Zaful itself and my experience. So first off, they have a super rad site. It's super aesthetically pleasing. It's nice to shop on. The pictures are big, the categories are sorted well. It was just a really good experience for online shopping. It was easy to use and it looked nice. They only have women's accessories, clothing, jewelry, and shoes. So they didn't have a lot of gothy or alternative stuff. It was pretty standard in terms of style of clothing. So even though it kind of on the surface didn't look like they had a lot of alternative style clothing, they still had a lot of black items and things that I could fit into my wardrobe and style. But on top of that, they're probably my favorite site so far in terms of the style of clothes that they have. It was all very cute, very chic, very fashionable items, and probably my favorite part about them was they had really awesome swimsuits. And I was kind of sad that I was making this order in the fall, almost winter, because I wanted to get a bunch of swimsuits that were super cute, but I wouldn't be wearing them for like a year. But seriously, they had some of the coolest swimsuits I've ever seen on any site, ever. They didn't seem to have a uniform type of picture, so it didn't seem like they were taking in-house pictures of the items. But they didn't appear at first glance to be stolen like some of the other companies, the online retailers that I've been doing haul and reviews from. But then as I was shopping more, I started to notice that, yeah, they did have pictures from Black Milk, they did have pictures from Nasty Gal, and they had pictures from Killstar as well. And so they did a bit of a better job than I think some other companies at making sure that most of the items, most of the pictures were maybe stock pictures or pictures from the retailers themselves. But they did have some issues with some of the items were using pictures that were definitely not from Zaful themselves. But that's not to say that the rest of the pictures were stolen. Hopefully that kind of makes sense. One thing that I always kind of pay attention to is, are they using pictures that are from different brands? Because then that's something to show that you're going to have knockoffs, you're going to have a little bit lower quality than you might expect. But it kind of seemed that Zaful was a little bit more on top of it in terms of pictures, if that makes sense, like I said. But they did have a lot of different items compared to the other online retailers I've been doing hauls from. I know that I talked about in my previous video, my haul from New Dress, I mentioned that a lot of these online retailers have the same products and they're using the same photos. So sites like New Dress, Dress Scout, Dress Link, CN Direct, all of these places seem to have about the same selection of items, just with pricing differences. What was different about Zaful is they seem to have almost a completely different stock. The majority of the items I had actually never seen before, and that was really fun for me because it was all of these different items, and so it was more exciting for me to shop on because I hadn't seen every single one on 5 other different sites, and so that was awesome. But the one downfall that I did see with Zaful was actually their pricing. It's maybe the most expensive I've ever seen, and that was a little bit tough for me as someone who is a bit of a bargain shopper. I look for deals, I try not to spend too much, especially if I'm not sure of the quality before I'm buying. And while they did have some cheaper items, like jewelry was as low as $1, some tops were about $5, they did rack up pretty far. The average dress price was maybe $30, average top price was maybe $15, and they even had some coats and other fancier items that were pushing $100 and even a little bit over. Even though it was really exciting to see these really cool shoes, really cool swimsuits, all these different types of clothing that I've never seen before, it was a little bit painful to just see how expensive everything was. But ultimately, it might actually be for a reason because of the items that I got and that I will talk to you about in a little bit. So the last few things about Zaful is that they did have the same process. You have to purchase an item in order to leave a review, which is really fun. And then their shipping was pretty fast. I actually had a little bit of a hiccup-ish with my order. Not really, but kind of. So I placed my order and then they actually emailed me and they're like, hey, one of your items is out of stock. Would you want to pick a new one or would you want to wait for it? What do you think? And it was actually the one thing that I wanted really bad, and so I said, I'll wait, it's okay, I don't mind waiting in order to get this item. So shipping itself took about 8 days, which was really fast, and that's probably the fastest shipping that I've gotten so far in all of my hauls. And so that's another +1 to Zaful is their shipping. Okay, so now that I've done my review part of this video, we can get into the haul. And first I have a couple things to say about the haul in general. So one thing that I noticed that when I first opened the package, all of the items were in their individual plastic wrapping like normal. But what was different was that some of them had actually Zaful written on the plastic wrapping, the covering of the items, which I had never seen before. I'd never seen that a company had actually designated the plastic wrapping that they were using as their own. And that was really fun for me because that tells me that Zaful actually owns these products somewhere. So I thought that was pretty neat. And then lastly, I noticed that on 2 of the items that I had, they are actually branded with tags, which is rare with these sites. It's not something that I talk about all the time, but a lot of them don't come with tags. They don't have brand names in them. Sometimes they don't even have any tags at all with sizing. But with Zaful, these things had tags, like brand new tags that were clipped onto them. And actually, 2 of the items were of the same brand. And on top of that, it was the same brand that I have seen before in some of my hauls. And so I don't know how to pronounce it, but I have one here. And it's this brand. And this brand was actually the same one that had the witching hour top that I had in my new dress haul. It was a cool thing to see that 2 of the items that I had in this order were actually of a brand, and they're of the same brand. So far, the items that I've seen from this brand have been my favorites, have been of really good quality. I don't know, I thought it was cool. I don't know if you guys think it's cool, but if you see that brand anywhere, then maybe keep an eye on it, because it might be actually worthwhile. So the first item that I got is the one that I was the most excited about, and the one that I had to wait a little bit for, which is this little backpack bag. And I am in love with it. I needed a new backpack bag thing because the straps on my old one broke. And so I saw this on their site, and I think it's super rad. I've seen a lot of like studded bags before, but none like this, and I think it's awesome. It has these little round top studs on it, and it's a fake leather. It has 3 ways that it closes. So it has a snap here, then it has drawstrings here, and then on the inside it has another snap. And so there's just, this thing is not going to bust open when I'm wearing it, which, you know, as with a backpack isn't really a fear of mine, but it's just nice that sometimes I just like throw it around, and so it's not going to like spill open. The material is really thick, it's sturdy. I'm not afraid of the straps breaking on this one like it did with my other backpack that I had. And I seriously, like, I can't get over it. Like, it fits all the things that I carry. Another way that you can tell that I super like it is I already started putting things on it. I have this little skull dude. Like, seriously, so happy with this. The only thing about it that is a little bit shitty for me was the price. It was $23.63, which, honestly, now that I have the bag in my hand, like, this could have been upwards of, like, $30, $35 in stores. And so at first I was kind of like, it's kind of expensive for me. I don't know if I'd be willing to pay that much of my own money. But after using it every day and just seeing how good quality it is, hell yeah, I would totally pay $23 for this. Okay, so now we can move on to the try-on part of the haul. So first up is one of the tops that was branded with tags that I was talking about, and I love this top. The material is super cool, it's pretty thick and it's stretchy. The design is obviously pretty wicked, and on top of that, it seems to be very well made. It is a little bit tight, and so I'm wondering if I should have gone a size up and gotten a large, but at the same time it fits me a little bit weird in the chest, so I think I actually got the right size. So overall, despite the price being a little bit on the expensive side, it definitely makes up for it in terms of quality and design. Then the other top from that brand is a Unif knockoff. I usually try not to buy knockoffs, especially from my favorite brands, but I actually really liked this design and I wanted to see what the quality was like. And it was one of the cheapest tops on there, and so I decided to go for it, and I'm glad that I did. The material is super soft, it actually fits me really well, and it's of surprisingly good quality. The print has held up through wearing it and washing it several times, and so I'm definitely glad I broke my knockoff rule and decided to go for it, because this might be one of my new favorite tops. This next top that I got I super love. The fabric is amazingly soft, it's comfortable, it's cute, I love the design, and I don't have anything else like it. When I wore it out, I got a ton of compliments, and I'm super happy to add this to my collection of black tank tops. Seriously, I have no complaints about this top. It's amazing. Then lastly, I got this pair of socks.
I couldn't actually choose which color the stripes were. It just said multicolored and it would either be red, green, purple, or another one. And so I was sent purple, which I'm happy with. So yeah, I think they're cute. And the packaging said 100% lamb's wool. So for whatever that's worth, I think they're pretty cool.
Alright, so that's it. That's all of the items that I got in this order. As you saw, I am super pleased with pretty much all of them. This has to be one of my favorite orders so far, just because not only do I love every item and I'm going to be wearing every item, they were of good quality, it got here fast, I loved shopping on the site. The only thing was the prices, but ultimately now that I've kind of seen the products, they kind of make sense a little bit. The prices fit the quality. And honestly, it's like that's Forever 21 H&M pricing, and I haven't seen these items in either of those stores. So, yeah. But overall, I'm gonna have to go with Zaful getting an A from me. It would be A+, except for I still just prices, but whatever. Let me know what you guys think. Did you like the products? What do you think was your favorite? Let me know if you guys have ever shopped with Zaful, what your guys' experience has been. I love getting comments from you guys when you tell me about your experiences with the companies that I've been doing hauls from. If you had good experiences, bad experiences, what's been going on. So yeah, that's it. That's all I have. Feel free to check out all the products. I'll have the links down below. And also feel free to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. Links will also be below. Feel free to subscribe if you are not already, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye!